The galaxy believed it knew everything. For thousands of cycles, the Galactic Archive had been the heart of all knowledge. It was older than most stars and larger than many worlds. Inside it were records of every known species, every language, every war, every extinction. If a civilization ever existed, its name lived in the archive. Nothing escaped it. The archivists trusted it more than their own eyes. At the center of the archive, a massive chamber glowed with soft blue light. Tall beings, short beings, beings made of flesh, metal, and light stood at their stations. Screens floated in the air, showing endless lines of data. The work was calm. Predictable. Boring. Until a signal appeared. It came from the outer edge of mapped space. A small, weak signal from a yellow star system. Nothing special at first. Signals like this appeared often, new species trying to speak into the void. An archivist noticed it and raised a clawed hand. Unregistered signal detected, the archivist said calmly. No one panicked. They never did. Another archivist began the search. The archive responded instantly, scanning trillions of records. Species names flashed. Star charts moved. Histories unfolded. Then the screen went blank. The archivist frowned. No match found, it said. The chamber grew quieter. That is not possible, another voice said. Run the search again. The archive searched again. Faster this time. Deeper. Still nothing. No species name. No biological profile. No cultural record. No first contact history. The signal came again. Clearer now. The archivists looked at one another. There are no blank spaces left in the archive, the High Archivist said slowly. Every thinking species has been recorded. A pause followed. Unless, someone said, they are too new. The idea was considered, and then dismissed. Even new species left traces. Old signals. Lost probes. Broken ruins. The archive always found something. But this time, there was nothing. The High Archivist turned to the council chamber above. We have detected a civilization with no record. The Galactic Council responded with quiet amusement. No record, one counselor said. Impossible. Perhaps a forgotten colony, another suggested. Or a minor species, a third said. Barely spacefaring. Laughter echoed softly. If they mattered, the council leader said, they would be in the archive. The decision was quick. A small scout fleet would be sent. Not a war fleet. Just enough to observe. Enough to confirm. Do not waste resources, the council leader said. If they resist, remind them of their place. The order was given. Far away, beyond charts and safe routes, the scout fleet moved. Meanwhile, the archivists continued to study the signal. They translated it easily. The language was simple. Direct. It came from a planet covered in blue and green. The signal repeated one phrase again and again. This is Earth. No title. No claim of power. No greeting to the galaxy. Just a name. Earth. The archivists found that strange. Most species announced themselves loudly. They listed achievements. They begged for peace or threatened war. Earth did neither. The planet was scanned. Population, high. Technology, uneven. Energy output, rising fast. The archivists noticed something else. The planet had thousands of objects orbiting it. Satellites. Stations. Defense platforms, some active, some dark. They are watching, one archivist said. Of course they are, another replied. They sent the signal. But they are not speaking again. That was true. After the first message, Earth went silent. No fear signals. No panic broadcasts. No desperate calls. The silence felt heavy. Still, the Council was not worried. The scout fleet was advanced. Its ships had crushed stronger civilizations for far less. When the fleet arrived at the edge of the system, they sent a standard command. Surrender and prepare for integration. The message was powerful. Clear. Absolute. For several seconds, there was no reply. Then a response came. Short. Calm. Identify yourselves first. The scout commander stared at the message. No fear. No respect. No surrender. Just a question. The commander smiled. So, the commander said, they do not understand. Weapons powered up, not to destroy, but to warn. Back in the Galactic Archive, the signal log updated. A new line appeared. Status, first contact, in progress. The archivists watched closely. None of them noticed that, for the first time in its existence, the archive had started recording, too late. The scout fleet moved closer to Earth. Its ships were long and sharp, made of dark metal that drank the light around them. To the galaxy, these ships were symbols of order. Wherever they appeared, resistance ended quickly. The commander of the fleet watched the blue planet grow larger on the main screen. So this is Earth, the commander said. The planet looked peaceful. Clouds moved slowly over wide oceans. Lights glowed across the dark side, showing cities full of life. It did not look like a world ready for war. That made the commander confident. No defensive movement detected, an officer reported. No weapons charging, another said. The commander let out a quiet laugh. They are pretending to be calm. The standard surrender message had already been sent. It was a message used for centuries. Strong. Clear. Final. Yet the response they received was wrong. Identify yourselves first. The words echoed in the command chamber. The commander's smile faded. Run analysis, the commander ordered. The officers obeyed. Human language patterns were broken down. Emotional markers were checked. Fear levels were measured. The results confused them. No signs of panic, an officer said slowly. No submission signals. Only curiosity, another added. The commander frowned. That is not how weak species behave. A reply was sent back to Earth. We are representatives of the Galactic Council. You are ordered to submit. This time, the response came faster. We do not submit to unknown forces. The bridge fell silent. The commander's claws tightened. They refuse, an officer said, disbelief clear in their voice. Yes, the commander replied coldly. They do. The commander turned to the weapons officer. Prepare a warning strike. A warning? The officer asked. Against the planet? No, the commander said. Against their eyes. Moments later, the fleet locked onto a human satellite orbiting Earth. It was small. Fragile. Clearly civilian. One clean shot was fired. The satellite vanished in a flash of light. No debris. No signal left. The commander waited. This was usually the moment when planets screamed. But Earth did not. No angry messages. No cries for peace. No threats. Instead, something strange happened. Across Earth, lights went out. Cities darkened one by one. Not from damage, but by choice. Power grids shut down. Satellites changed orbit. Stations went silent. Earth was going dark. The officers looked at their screens. Sir, one said, uneasy. They are reducing emissions. Why would they hide? Another asked. The commander leaned forward. Because they are afraid. But the data did not agree. Human defense systems were waking up, not firing, not charging, just aligning. Old machines moved from storage. New ones rose from underground. Oceans shifted as massive structures broke the surface. They are mobilizing, an officer said. Too late, the commander replied. They are primitives. A final message was sent to Earth. This is your last chance. This time, Earth answered with only 2 words. You fired. The words were calm. Flat. Almost disappointed. Before the commander could respond, alarms began to sound. Sir. Sensor interference. What kind? The commander snapped. Unknown. Space distortion. It's localized, around us. Stars near the fleet began to bend. Not explode. Not move. Bend. Light stretched. Distance felt wrong. Pull back, the commander ordered suddenly. Engines powered up. Nothing happened. Engines responding, the commander demanded. No, sir, an officer whispered. Space won't let us. For the first time, fear touched the bridge. A new human signal appeared on all channels. Not loud. Not threatening. Just a single voice. We waited, the voice said. You chose. The commander stared at the screen. Waited for what? The commander asked. There was a pause. For confirmation, the human voice replied. In the Galactic Archive, alarms finally rang. The archive began recording at maximum speed. A new classification appeared. Threat level, unknown. Then it changed. Threat level, extreme. The scout fleet floated helplessly near Earth. And the galaxy was about to learn. What humans did. After patience ended. The scout fleet was trapped. Engines pushed with full power, but the ships did not move. Space around them felt thick, like invisible walls pressing from all sides. Navigation systems showed false paths. Distance meant nothing anymore. The commander stood frozen. This is not possible, the commander said. No species can control space itself. An officer shook their head. Sir, sensors are failing. We cannot read gravity, time, or mass correctly. Another officer spoke in a low voice. It feels like, we are being held. Held. That word spread fear across the bridge. The human voice returned, calm and steady. You came with weapons, it said. We answered with patience. The commander tried to regain control. This is your final warning, the commander said loudly. Release us or your planet will burn. There was no reply. Not at first. Instead, Earth did something unexpected. It did nothing. No attacks. No explosions. No movement. Just silence. The silence stretched. 10 seconds. 20. 30. The officers began to panic. Sir, I'm detecting internal failures, one said. Our systems are shutting down one by one. Why? The commander shouted. I don't know, the officer replied. Nothing is hitting us. The ships were not under attack. They were being ignored. That was worse. Across the fleet, lights dimmed. Weapon systems powered down without command. Communication between ships dropped into static. One ship tried to fire its weapons. The beam vanished the moment it left the barrel. Not blocked. Not reflected. Erased. Sir, an officer whispered, they are not fighting us. What are they doing? The commander demanded. The answer came from the sensors. They are studying us. The commander felt a cold weight settle in their chest. Humans were watching. Measuring. Learning. The human voice returned again. You are not the first to threaten us, it said. Just the first to arrive uninvited. A screen activated on the bridge. It showed images. Old images. Alien ships burning. Fleets disappearing. Worlds reduced to silence. Species long thought lost. Extinct. The commander recognized some of them. These wars, the commander said. They were never recorded. That is correct, the human voice replied. We asked not to be recorded. The bridge went quiet. You hid? The commander asked. Yes, the human answered. We listened. The commander finally understood. Humans had been watching the galaxy for a long time. Every invasion. Every betrayal. Every lie. They learned one rule. Strike only when certain. We waited for you to fire first, the human voice continued. You always do. Fear spread openly now. Sir, an officer cried out, one of our ships is gone. The commander turned. A ship had vanished. No explosion. No debris. One moment it existed. The next moment, nothing. Then another ship disappeared. And another. Each loss was silent. Clean. Perfect. Panic broke discipline. Send a distress call, the commander shouted. We are trying, an officer screamed. No signal can escape. Earth had closed the system. The human voice spoke again, softer now. This is not punishment, it said. This is prevention. The commander fell back into the command seat. You cannot erase us, the commander said weakly. The council will respond. There will be no response, the human replied. We removed your witnesses first. The last remaining ships tried to move. Space tightened. Time slowed. The commander felt every second stretch painfully long. On Earth, deep underground, systems reached full charge. Weapons that were never meant to be used lightly. Weapons built for one purpose. Ending threats forever. Back in the Galactic Archive, the data streams went wild. Records updated themselves faster than the archivists could read. A new entry forced its way into the system. Species name, human. Status, active. Warning, do not engage. The scout fleet was reduced to 3 ships. Then 2. Then 1. The commander's ship remained. Floating. Alone. The human voice spoke one final time. You will be remembered, it said. For exactly one reason. Space folded inward. And the galaxy held its breath. The last scout ship floated alone. All others were gone. No wreckage. No signals. No proof they had ever existed. The commander stood in silence, staring at empty space where an entire fleet once ruled. The bridge was dark now. Only emergency lights remained. Every system had failed except life support. Even that was fading. Outside the ship, space twisted slowly, like a storm frozen in time. Human, the commander said at last, voice shaking. End this. If you are going to kill us, do it. The human voice answered without anger. This is not killing, it said. This is correction. On Earth, far below, ancient systems finished waking up. They were not new weapons. They were old ideas, perfected over time. Human leaders watched in silence. No cheers. No pride. Only focus. This was never about revenge. It was about making sure it never happened again. Above Earth, space changed. Not violently. Precisely. Invisible lines appeared around the remaining ship. The commander felt pressure from all sides. Not physical pressure, but something deeper. Reality itself was closing in. "What is happening?" the commander whispered. "You are being removed from relevance," the human voice replied. The ship tried to send one last message to the Galactic Council. It failed. Every path out of the system was sealed. The commander fell to their knees. "For centuries," the commander said weakly, "we believed we ruled the galaxy." "Yes," the human said. "We noticed." The space around the ship began to fold inward. Stars stretched into thin lines. Light bent until it screamed and vanished. Time slowed. The commander saw memories flash across the bridge screens, forced by human systems. Worlds conquered. Species erased. Children taken. Planets burned. Every crime the fleet had committed played back in perfect detail. "You keep records," the human voice said. "So do we." The commander screamed. The ship collapsed into itself. Not exploding. Not burning. It folded into nothing. In one silent moment, the scout fleet ceased to exist. Total annihilation. Above Earth, space returned to normal. Stars snapped back into place. Light flowed again. The system looked peaceful, almost untouched. From the outside, it was as if nothing had happened. Except one thing. A single data pulse escaped before the end. It was weak. Broken. Barely alive. But it reached the Galactic Archive. The archivists froze as alarms screamed across the chamber. "What is this?" one cried. Data poured in. Ship loss, total. Fleet status, destroyed. Engagement time, seconds. Then came the classification update. The archive struggled, rewriting its own rules. Species, human. Threat level, absolute. Engagement recommendation, none. The council chamber erupted in panic. "This must be an error," a counselor shouted. "No species can erase a fleet that fast." But the data did not lie. The archive never lied. Then a new message arrived. Not a threat. Not a demand. A statement. "This is humanity," the message said. "We did not seek you. You came to us." The council listened in silence. "We do not want your worlds," the message continued. "We do not want your power." A pause followed. "But we will end anyone who tries to take ours." The message ended. Across the galaxy, fleets stopped moving. Weapons powered down. Expansion plans were erased overnight. Species that once ruled through fear now felt something new. Uncertainty. Back on Earth, systems powered down again. Weapons returned to sleep. Satellites resumed normal orbit. Cities slowly lit back up. To humans, the day continued like any other. But in the Galactic Archive, a final line was added. Written in bold. Permanent. Rule 1. If humans are not in the records, leave them there. Because the galaxy had learned the truth. Humans were not missing. They were simply waiting. The galaxy did not celebrate. It froze. For the first time in recorded history, the Galactic Council sat in silence. No voices argued. No species claimed authority. The chamber, once loud with power, felt small and afraid. The scout fleet was gone. Not defeated. Not damaged. Erased. In seconds. The Galactic Archive confirmed it again and again. There was no error. No corruption. No false data. The truth was simple. Humans had ended the encounter before the galaxy understood it had begun. Counselors looked at the data floating before them. Charts showed empty space where a fleet once existed. Timelines showed how fast it ended. Seconds. One counselor finally spoke. Why were they not in the archive? No one answered. The High Archivist stepped forward, voice low. Because they chose not to be. That thought terrified the council more than the destruction. Every great power wanted to be seen. Humans wanted to be unknown. And now, another counselor asked. As if in answer, a new message arrived. It did not break through systems. It did not force itself open. It simply appeared, accepted by the archive itself. This is humanity. The council straightened. Some prepared defenses. Others prepared apologies. The message continued. We have reviewed your records. That sentence alone sent shock through the chamber. Humans had access to the archive. We know who you are, the message said. We know what you do to weak worlds. Screens changed. Images appeared. Invasions. Forced integration. Species erased for resources. Crimes the galaxy had accepted as normal. We stayed hidden, the message said, because we were learning. The council felt exposed. We learned your patterns, humanity continued. You always come with words first. You always fire second. A pause followed. You fired first. No anger was in the message. No pride. Only fact. We do not want your galaxy, humanity said. We do not want your rule. Another pause. But we will not be ruled. The message ended with a final line. Leave us unseen. The chamber remained silent long after the message faded. Then the archive changed on its own. Not ordered. Not programmed. It updated reality. A new universal law appeared. Galactic Rule 0. Do not seek humanity. The council voted instantly. Not out of agreement. Out of fear. All human space was marked forbidden. All probes were recalled. All expansion routes were changed. Species that once crushed worlds now avoided one small blue star system. Legends began to spread. Some said humans could break stars. Others said they controlled time. Most said nothing, because even speaking the name felt dangerous. On distant worlds, teachers warned students. Do not provoke the unseen ones. On trading routes, captains whispered. If you see Earth, turn back. Meanwhile, on Earth, life continued. People walked streets. Children played. The sky remained blue. Most humans never knew how close the galaxy came. Deep underground, systems powered down for the last time. Ancient weapons returned to silence. Human leaders made one final choice. They erased their own trail again. No signals. No warnings. No records. Just silence. Back in the Galactic Archive, the High Archivist stared at the human entry. It was short. Too short. Species, human. Status, observing. Threat level, unmeasurable. The archivist added one final note. Not required. Not ordered. A warning to the future. If you find no record of them, do not search harder. Because the galaxy finally understood the truth. The most dangerous species was not the one that ruled loudly. It was the one that waited in silence until patience ended. And somewhere, unseen, humanity watched the stars. Not as conquerors, but as the final line. No one dared to cross.